after today, we will be a quarter of the way through the season here in the 2024 Herr Sprint Series. But we're already on our second road course event of the season. The first one was won by Santiago Labarito 2 weeks ago. Today, here at Circuit of the Americas, we might very well have ourselves a new race winner. It is 8 laps around this 3.427 mile road course in Austin, Texas. And for the second time ever in the Sprint Series, we're going to have ourselves a cycle of pit stops. It's the Texas Grand Prix. This is the 8th race of the season in the 2024 Herr Sprint Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to Circuit of the Americas. We're excited for this weekend here in Austin, Texas on the channel. We got tonight's race. Friday night, we got ourselves Firestone, Indy, Texas, which is always a banger. And Caleb's going to put on a great show again here at Circuit of the Americas. You know what I'm saying when I say that. And then, of course, we got the Cup Series coming here on Saturday, but we begin the festivities with the Sprint Series. And last year, this race may have been the worst race of the season because we didn't have a cycle of pit stops, only 5 laps, and they literally just ran in a line the entire race. Today we got a cycle, and that's going to shake things up a lot, and it's lots of times after that cycle of pit stops we see these guys shuffle around a little bit. We saw that happen a lot in the Cup Series race here last year. We're going to see it here today in this one. Joe alongside a guy who was in the Sprint Series a lot last year, Philip Torres, currently the driver of the number 20 in the Wawa Cup Series for Rut Racing. And Philip, you ran this race last year. It was a very unique race because they were all just in a line. You think we might see something different knowing that we have a different car this year, GNS Physics for these guys in the Sprint Series? You think we might see some passing out there for the race lead and stuff?
There is a chance. There's always a chance. And due to the fact we're in these Xfinity cars, which is different from the cars I had driven last year in the next gen, I got a good feeling there is going to be a lot of passing in this track.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this race ends up shaking out, especially with the cycle of pit stops, of course. And hey, we got ourselves about 20 turns on this road course as well, and these guys are going to be going all over the place, especially in turn number 1. When they go on the turn number 1, they overshoot it, go all the way out there, and then they come back on the track, which is something they don't necessarily do in real life, but hey, that's just the way the LP files are built on this track, and you know what? It's pretty fun. We're going to go ahead and give these guys to roll off here since we've got such a long pace lap to get to the green flag here, but we'll get you guys the points here on your screen right now. And you see the points there with Alexander still the only driver who has finished top 10 in every single race so far this season. As a matter of fact, no other driver has more than 4 top 10s coming into this race, and the good thing for Alexander he starts top 10 once again. And, hey, you know what? You definitely want to start up front here at Circuit of the Americas. We got Juan Romero, who won last week at Bristol. 2 wins on the season. He's 26 points behind. Then it's Chris Reynolds and Herr and Alonso tied for 3rd in the points, both 31 behind. Skylar Taylor, our pole sitter for today's race. They start in the 1st position, and they are 5th in the points, 35 points behind coming into today's event. Of course, starting lineup here, you got Skylar Taylor in the 55 alongside the 80 machine there of Joey Brown. Joey Brown back behind the wheel there for NS Racing. Michael Lewis, he's had a lot of strong runs as of late alongside our last winner of Juan Romero, who's first driver to win twice this season here in the Sprint Series. Got Felicity Mendoza in the 96 and Corey Case in the 57 there in row number 3. And then Alexander back in the 93 actually. He's not in the 53. I thought he was in the 53 this week. That's actually Angel Oliveira. Our race winner who's back. He's going to be in the back of the field since he hasn't made a start since his opening race earlier. But that's Alexander in the 93 this week alongside Brandon Nelson. You got Eric Monaco in the 13 alongside the 90 machine, driven by Aaron Abel this week. Christian Master is always in the 56 alongside Chris Reynolds. We got the 50 machine there of Vinny Scholes to the inside of Santiago Labarito, the winner of the Willow Springs race 2 weeks ago. Nathan Faden, Balthasar Steep. You got Anthony McClure, Dylan Matthews. Leonard Kochmer in the number 4 to the inside of the 02 of Duncan Ward. Duncan's 2nd career start, Kochmer's 3rd career start. Then you got Andrew Williams in the 69. He's been trying to get that 53, but someone just keeps on taking it away from him. He's to the inside of the 64 of Herr and Alonso. And there's our winner from the first race this season. Hasn't made a start since he won in New Smyrna. That's Angel Oliveira to the inside of a first-timer. That is Eric McDonald Ruiz in the 99, making his first career start here today in this Texas Grand Prix. Well, Philip, you raced with some of these guys last year. You know how they race. You know how it is here at COTA. Who do you think is going to get the race victory here in this Texas Grand Prix, the 8th race of the season?
Well, it could be anybody's race because due to the fact we're in a road course, due to the fact that these cars are different from the next gen cars from last year, I got a gut feeling anybody can win a road course. That's if they know how to do the heel and toe trick, which Jeff Gordon used to do in real life.
So we'll have to see.
And this is like a roller coaster.
And this one definitely has a lot of elevation changes. It's interesting you mentioned that because going up there in the turn number 1, that is a massive hill going up there, and lots of elevation changes from the highest point to the lowest point on this racetrack. Of course, Skylar Taylor there on the pole position. We'll see what they can do. Of course, they won a lot last year in the Sprint Series. Well, I would like to mention one notable omission to today's race. Joe Rutkowski, your team owner, Joe Rutkowski, Philip, missed the race this weekend. That's going to be tough for him because, you know what? He's been in every single race so far this season. He finally missed out here. You know, one race isn't going to completely ruin your season, obviously being a 32-race season with no chase, but it's going to be interesting to see how that affects Joe Rutkowski going forward this season in the Sprint Series. Well, 8 races. We got a cycle of pit stops about halfway. Of course, they will only have to stop once here today, and of course, no cautions, this being a road course, so if we do get a wreck, that's just the way it goes, and we keep on racing here. 8 laps compared to 5 laps from last year, so it's a much longer race. We'll be here a little while here tonight, and it's going to be fun to see who gets it all done here at Circuit of the Americas. A couple more corners to go, and then we are green flag racing here in the Texas Grand Prix. Skylar Taylor and Joey Brown on the front row. You got Michael Lewis and Juan Romero trying to get his 3rd win of the season in row 2. There are a lot of other drivers who'd love to get the victory lane, and of course, they want to get a good starting position for next week's race at South Boston as well, with that fastest lap. But here we go, pace cars down, Skylar Taylor and Joey Brown going to lead us to the green flag, and we're underway for Sprint Series night in America at Circuit of the Americas.
Let's feel the thunder in COTA.
And Skylar Taylor with a good jump. Watch out for Michael Lewis here in turn 1, getting to the inside as Taylor moves up. And that inside lane is definitely where you want to be. So I know you're taking some notes for Saturday's race, Philip. And how about Michael Lewis there from 3rd starting position, taking the lead away. You got the 96 of Felicity Mendoza. She's up to the 2nd position, and Taylor going to fall back to 3rd. Alexander already up to 4th, and it's Eric Monaco in 5th. So that inside lane, or should I say the outside lane to start that race, did not get a good start. That inside lane, absolutely where you want to be to start it out here at COTA.
Absolutely. Because with these cars, if you try to shoot it in, if you shoot it in too much, you overshoot the corner. But if you did it just right, just like the 25 car, for sure you do it the right thing. I'm hoping you get a good run out of turn 1 as well.
I'm just going to mention this right now. What on earth did Angel Olvera do at the start of this race? He started 23rd. And look at this. He's already in the top 10. Or at least close to it. That's insane.
We got a little action going on.
What an insane start there for Oliveira. And, you know, won the first race of the season at New Smyrna Speedway. And you know what? He wants to get another one here at COTA.
Yep. I got a good feeling Angel Rivera is saying, oh, you know what? You guys you could run wide. I'm going to run in tight. And if I get a good run out of it, I'll take it. So right now, he's taking every bite he can. And right now, he's... 50 car and the 87 just collided. That's not good.
Not good at all. That's Juan Romero, who won last week at Bristol, and of course that was a race that was very difficult to pass, like we expect today, but that's going to knock him out of the race.
Romero is his engine's saying, dude, you got to bring it in now. His radio's probably just steaming right now after hitting the 50 car in the rear. Look at the rear of the 50. It's all banged up.
Yeah, of course, Vinny Schultz, she'll be fine. Of course, it's the back of the car, so it's not going to affect her as much, but that's going to end Romero's day. No doubt about it. I mean, Olvera, I am impressed with what that 53 is doing right there. No wonder Andrew Williams wants this ride every week. Well, up front, Michael Lewis is clear to the race lead. Felicity Mendoza, Skylar Taylor. Looks like Alexander Rowe got past there. We had a lot of movement there in that first lap. They were all over the place there. Eric Monaco, Joey Brown, and that's something that we're going to end up seeing on Saturday as well. These guys getting into each other into the corners because you got that long back straightaway there, that tight left-hander. These guys have to be careful not to get into each other and ruin their races, and that's exactly what we saw there with Juan Romero, who's down the pit lane right now.
That's not good for Guado Romero. I mean, he didn't need that. I mean, I understand he's probably... he's already retired. Never mind that. So that means it must have been a busted radiator or something in that car. So that means he's out. We still got a lot of action to go. 8 laps. This track is long. And Even the straights feel fast when you go to that tight left-hander in the backstretch into that long straightaway. So
about the
this
53
track was
of Olvera.
Olvera's
He
getting
moved up
strong, man.
15 positions in one lap.
He's just biding his time right now. All he has to do is just keep on moving up and just hopefully don't get into chain reactions in front of him, which he almost did, but at least he's taking his time. Because right now it's a long race.
Just a little bit there as well in the 93 machine. He's now in the 6th position, but obviously we saw Lagos in a row get the race victory in the Wawa Cup Series at Phoenix a couple weeks ago. He's a great driver over there, and obviously he's been the points leader essentially since the start of this season. And he's got 26 points on the field and looking to get his 8th straight top 10. He's finished top 10 in every race so far leading up to this one, and he currently runs 10th, or should I say, in the top 10 and 6th right now. But one guy to watch out for is Michael Lewis. This is another guy who's had a pretty solid season. He has been in every start so far as well, and these are guys who have to sign up each and every week. Michael Lewis there, he is 7th in the championship standings coming into this race, and here he is leading this field here at COTA.
I mean, I got a gut feeling that the leader right now, he needed that buffer because, after 7th in the points, you could easily start gaining some ground back up to catch 5th, 6th, 5th, and 4th on the long run. But right now, he's doing good.
Keeping his teammate for this race too, also doing a good job. Skylar Taylor, of course, they started on the pole, but went up to that outside lane there and just was not the good decision right there to do so, because that opened the door for Michael Lewis to get to the inside. It looks like we've calmed down a little bit. How about Eric Monaco there? Haven't talked about him yet in this race. He's up to the 4th position. And Eric Monaco, even though he did miss a race this season already, he sits pretty close to the top 10 in points, only 54 points behind. And he's ahead of the guy he's trying to beat, so it would be 52 behind the way it's currently running right now. We got a bit of a gap there between Angel Olvera and Christian Master, and you got all these guys who are held up by Master. They're all on each other right here from Duncan Warren on up.
I think they're just pondering what move can they make, but due to the fact they're so close, I wouldn't predict making a move right away because right now they're going through the essence. I don't think it's a good timing. And this is meant for F1 track, like an F1 track for sports cars and F1 only. So, but with these cars, I think these drivers are making an option for it. Making a little change. The fact this is an Xfinity car compared to the next gen I ran last year, so not a bad reputation for these guys, including up-and-coming stars in this field. And some of them are well known.
Here we go. Inside, of course, that inside does not have any grip on the keyhole, so he's not going to get a run on Alexander Rowe right there. But he's now up to the 7th position, getting around Christian Master right there. And if he has a good pit stop here. Let's see, he's 6 seconds off right now. He could find himself in an opportunity to win this race. It is possible. That 53 is clearly one of the fastest cars on the track here, and he's almost going to get in the Alexander Rowe there. He's got to be careful. But he saw what happened to Romero earlier on. Obviously, he does not want the same thing to happen there. And that's something for our defending race winner of Juan Romero to get knocked out like that, and he's not going to have a good starting position next week at South Boston, so not exactly a good run for him. How about Felicity Mendoza? This is the best run she has had. Of course, of all the drivers, or should I say, she's actually just one position behind the guy who's been in all starts this season, who's lowest in the points. But she's been in 5 starts this season, only 57 points to account for it, and 1 top 10. It's not been a good run so far for her, but here she is in 2nd. Great run in between Michael Lewis and Skylar Taylor, but they're letting Michael Lewis pull away with this thing. This 25's almost got a 2.5-second lead, and we're only 3 laps into this race here in the Texas Grand Prix.
Now, the only one question is, can he duplicate this run that he's doing right now in the Sprint Series into the Cup Series? That's the iffy part. Due to the fact the cars are different here in the Sprint Series to the cars that we're driving in on Saturday for the Cup. So he should keep his driving capabilities just like the way it is, and hopefully he'll just run to the front with all of us in front. So I'm hoping he's be doing well, keeping his points, turning points in good ways, keeping a Shelby Mustang up in front too.
We'll have to see what Michael Lewis can do on Saturday, assuming he advances on. He's in the position, and that's a pretty big back, about 3 seconds right there between Michael Lewis and Felicity Mendoza. Of course, top 4, all eligible drivers for the Cup Series. This right here, the last transfer spot between Joey Brown and Eric Monaco. And I know these guys definitely want to get it. Of course, Eric Monaco was in the Cup Series full-time last year, so I know he'd love to get back and have another crack at it. Of course, we saw Alex Enro get a race win in a Sprint Series car, so ooh, right there. Not a good entry there for Alexander Rowe, and Angel Oliveira's going to have a shot here, but he's got to be on the outside lane of this keyhole to have an opportunity.
Whoa, that was close. I thought the Napa car was not going to hit his brakes on time. He almost ran in the back of that 53 car.
Christian Master's got to be careful with Oliveira. Of course, they were teammates in that opening race at New Smyrna.
Exactly. You don't want to run into your former teammate like that. That was scary right there. Here we go again with another tight section of the course. Another tight left-hander. And clean as could be. Let's see how the rest of them do. Ooh.
Corey Case close. Getting it a little interesting there behind Vinny Scholes on the number 50 machine. Of course, Vinny Scholes, remember, she won the Rowdy Energy Pro Series Championship. But,
absolutely.
She really has not had as much to say for here. She's been quiet, let me say that, because she's sixth in the championship standings. But, we really haven't seen her contend for many wins yet this season. I don't know if she's really going to contend here today, but another top 10 run for pretty solid. And here we go. We're closing in on pit stops here at COTA, and I'd watch out for Monaco and Joey Brown because they got a buckle on their hood, and they may have to repair that coming down the pit lane right here in a couple of laps because they may not be able to slide with that one.
No.
Which that could give position to Alexander Rowe. I mean, who knows? Alexander Rowe could be back in a Cup Series car again. I know y'all don't want to see that after what he did at Phoenix.
I don't mind seeing young guns like these try to go into the Cup Series. At least they're trying to at least get some seat time into these Xfinity cars. So at least knowing the factor of how to, use the clutch and using the gears to the road courses. I mean, due to the fact with those two cars we just saw with the buckle on the hood, I think it could hurt the Arrow on straightaways, but on turns, I'm hoping it doesn't hurt them that much. But other than that, it's looking good so far. It's still running at least.
Of course, Alexander Rowe, he's been around quite a while.
25, that 25 just gapped himself. He's not even looking back. He's just, Jesus.
Like
he's
Max
probably not even looking back.
He's F1 car here.
Yeah, exactly. He's just making every corner count, especially this one. He doesn't even drop a tire off that dirt. And now he's going to come up to this tight left-hander, which is a second gear turn. And beautiful. Not even hitting the little rumple strip on his left, which is a good thing. Oh, we got a little fight going on right here between the 96 and Skylar Taylor. They're gonna try something to keep up with the 25, but 25 gapped himself between the second and third, so he's gone.
And of course, Michael Lewis has to be careful in the pit lane not to make any mistakes. He's got this big of a lead, and that's the only thing at this point that would ruin his race, because the way they're spread out at this point, we're really not going to see much go on in terms of on-track action. But then again, you got all this going on back here. How about Eric McDonald-Ruiz? First career start right here. In the middle of all this madness, and oh boy, Dylan Matthews, and there's Duncan Ward doing the same thing that Guatemala did earlier. They just jammed up into the corner right there.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean,
Alonso back in here. I know he keeps on going for that first road course win. That's not happening today.
That old two cars all screwed up.
It's a madhouse back in there because they just can't get off each other. Brandon Nelson also has a lot of front end damage, and you know what? This is something that we're going to see on Saturday. Going to get very interesting in that regard. Michael Lewis still staying out right there. This pit stop's going to happen really close to the end of the race for these guys, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that ends up affecting. And here we go. How about Angel Oliveira? Now this is big right here because we saw how quick he was at the start of the race. That car has speed. Maybe coming down a lap earlier, maybe trying to get an advantage on the rest of the field, and maybe surpass some of these guys, and maybe get into one of those top 4 positions to run on Saturday in the Cup Series. Or is this only his second start of the season, so we'll have to see what he can do. Another guy down, that's Brandon Nelson, but then again, he's got damage to his car.
I'm
Quick
surprised.
Stop right there.
Brandon Nelson, he's still running with the buckle on his hood the way it is.
Maybe not for
his
too much
crew should have called him down. Yeah, never mind.
We're going to take it out.
Whoop.
Not as much damage as Romero had, so he'll be able to continue on. Alonso down the pit lane as well on strategy. So they're good to go on fuel to the end of this race. We'll have to see how that ends up affecting those guys. 4.72 seconds for Michael Lewis. Looking for his first career win. Hey, how did it feel when you won your first career race last year, Philip? Obviously, I know that was a big deal when that occurred for you at Talladega last year. If you're Michael Lewis here, what are you feeling, in an opportunity to possibly get your first career win?
don't look back and just make your turns possible. Do it like it's a road course. Compared to what I did in Talladega, I kept on watching every car that tried to go up against the leader, and they fade back behind him and disappear on the third lane on the outside. So I just made a different strategy change, and I said, let's just go for it and go for the win. So we didn't have to pit. All we had to do was just win the race. So that's what I did. And I mean, this guy has to understand, don't look in the rearview mirror. Just keep doing your paces, and just keep going. I mean, if your crew chief tells you to come in, bring it in, get 4 tires and fuel, and go back out.
I'm wondering if they're even going to go with tires here, because we're only going to have 2 laps to go when they cross the line next time by, and I don't even think Oliveira or Alonso and those guys took tires either, so it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, I think the thing for Oliveira, he's got a clean racetrack ahead of him right here, so he's going to be able to log a pretty clean lap right here, get some speed. But then again, he was 8 seconds behind Michael Lewis when he came down here, so I don't think he's going to get to that 25. It's going to take a catastrophic mistake for Michael Lewis to lose this race at this point. And I know Owen Miles, the owner of this team, is excited to possibly see one of his sprint cars finally get a victory late in the season.
Here we go, leader in the pits.
Mendoza also going to come down. I think we're going to see everyone come down right here.
Yeah.
Skylar Taylor.
Whoa.
They're going to try to stretch it a little bit here. That could get interesting because they're going to come down with 1 lap to go. Same with Christian Master. So this cycle going to be right near the end of this race. It's actually 2 laps to go across the line right here.
She's taking a chance because if her car doesn't run out of gas, that's taking a chance. Because, I mean, listen, this is a really long road course, and I would not take a chance like that. That's not good, because if your car runs out of gas somewhere along the road course, it's sad to say, here comes Michael Lewis.
And an easy exit for Michael Lewis there.
Yep.
But he's not the race leader right now. He is not going to go wire to wire here today. And he's actually got to be careful because he's got Baltazar Steep right in front of him here. Is at the back of the field. And we've seen, Philip, these guys run into each other. They're going into those tight turns. Michael's got to be careful not to do that on the 88 machine.
Yep. You don't want to screw up your race right away. And this is a place you don't want to mess it up, especially when you just finished leading the race and now your teammate's leading. So he's going to have to take his time and not mess up his lines. Just figure out a way to get around him and just keep rolling. Which, that Pepsi car's got a buckle on his hood for some reason.
Not been the best of seasons for Baltazar Steep, unfortunately. A rookie driver right there.
Yeah.
He had a couple of close moments. Actually was pretty solid at Willow Springs. But just couldn't keep up with the field in that one. And then just got mired back in the field again with those lap times. Speaking of the lap times, I would imagine that Michael Lewis has the fastest one, and he does, which is great for him, looking to maybe get another win next week at South Boston. That'll be an interesting race there. The shortest track of the season. That'll be a lot of fun for a standalone event for these guys. Here we go. This is the moment of truth right here from Michael Lewis. He's got to be careful not to get into this 88. And you know what? That was a clean move right there. That was good. He knew it.
Nice.
And he slowed down pretty well right there. So now, what will Skylar Taylor do? Because they're going to have 1 lap to go when they cross the line. They're going to have to come down the pit lane and pit for fuel. They're not going to be able to make it to the end here. So let's see what she does here in this 55 machine.
If she stays out, she's risking it, especially with fuel and tires. But due to the fact everybody else took 2, I believe she should do the same, just like her teammate did. So let's see what happens. And here we go. Which direction? Yep, she's coming in.
So is Joey Brown. So here's Christian Master as well.
Christian Masters.
Corey Case also stayed out. Nathan Faden, or should I say, 69 machine of Andrew Williams. 90 machine there. Aaron Abel, Kochmer, McClure, Laurito, and Steep.
Wow.
So those were all the guys who stayed out there until the end. And this is strange. Skylar Taylor's going to take the white flag on the pit lane.
But her team is about to come across the lines right now.
This is going to be tight.
Where is he?
This is going to be tight. Oh, that 25 is already clear.
He's gone.
Already clear.
But what puts back... Oh, here comes second and third. Oh, this is going to be close.
There was an attempt, but this doesn't look like it's going to quite work out for her. Now the question is, who's going to get the last transfer spot into the Cup race? Because Alexander Rowe in that 50, or should I say, he was in that ride last week. I mean, Alexander right behind Angel Oliveira right here. They're going to be going for here on these guys in this final lap. Then again, Skylar Taylor trying to close in here on Eric Monaco for the 3rd position. Of course, Monaco actually got around that 55 there on that cycle. But Michael Lewis As long as he doesn't blow up,
again.
He's gonna get this win.
Nah, there's no doubt about it. He's in his own rhythm. He's doing everything right, keeping his composure up, not dropping a tire at all. I mean, he's running it clean, just like the other guys behind him.
And he's got nobody ahead of him either. So, oh boy, Taylor trying there on Monaco.
Taylor clean. Okay, that was close.
That was close.
That was close. From that angle, it looked close. This guy, the 53, man, he's been tearing it up ever since the start of the race.
Definitely the driver of the day, no doubt about it. I mean, you move up 19 positions in a race here at COTA, you absolutely have some skill, and that's exactly what Oliveira had. That 53 machine. I mean, fourth quickest lap of the race as well, so if he returns next week at South Boston, he's going to have a good steering position there on the short track.
Michael Lewis
looking to just seal it here and get the fastest lap as well. Get the pole next week. That 25 is out of here.
Whoever is tuning that Mustang, he's probably just saying, "Oh man, guys, I hope you guys did a great job, and thank you very much for this opportunity. I hope we just keep going from this." But this opportunity that he's got just paid the right price right here. He's gonna win this head over heels.
After what we saw at Bristol last week, it's not over till it's over. But it's looking pretty good for the 25 of Michael Lewis. Looking to get his first career win on the channel, and also get the pole for next week's race at South Boston. A great start, pulled away, good pit stop, and that's all you need here at COTA to get the race victory. Michael Lewis is going to win the Texas Grand Prix here at Circuit of the Americas.
Good job, buddy.
Felicity Mendoza, a very solid and respectable second. Eric Monaco and Skylar Taylor will all be running on Saturday in the Terry Black's Texas Grand Prix.
Yep.
They both have the same race, and I don't know why I did that. Only one's sponsored by a famous barbecue place. This one's just sponsored by Texas. All right, 25 of Michael Lewis. Pulls it off here. Now, these guys have not finished crossing the line quite yet.
Wow.
Now they have. Everyone has, in fact, crossed the line.
Great job.
So not a good day for some of those guys back in there. But when you have a clean racetrack here at COTA, that's exactly what it can give you. And Michael Lewis gets the job done. And he's got the pole, assuming he signs up. He still has to sign up, but he's been in all these races so far. But assuming he signs up, he's going to have the pole for South Boston next week. And that should be another great opportunity for him to maybe get his second win of the season. Felicity Mendoza, Skylar Taylor, Angel Oliveira. I mean, it's a shame that Oliveira didn't actually get him to a transfer spot, because I would have loved to see him in the Cup race based on what he did in this one. Joey Brown there, the top 5 fastest lap as well. Take a look at the rest of the fastest laps, so you'll have somewhat of an idea where you'll all start next week at South Boston. Of course, sign-ups for that coming up in just a couple minutes. Take a look at the rest of it right there. And poor Juan Romero didn't even get a chance to run a full lap here today after what happened to him. So he will start deep in the field. He won't start dead last if we get new drivers, but not a good run for him at all after what happened to him there on the first lap of the race. Michael Lewis gets the job done here. Duncan Ward and Juan Romero out of the race because they had the same issue going into that tight left-hander there down the backstretch, and it's just a shame for him. But you know what? That was an interesting race here at COTA. Definitely, I think this was more interesting than Bristol last week because we had that cycle of pit stops, and they were doing a lot of things back in there that made it interesting. And hey, you're going to be in the Cup race on Saturday, Philip. What did you learn from watching this one to do twice the length for 16 laps on Saturday?
Well, let's just say I'll put in perspective. Road courses are awesome to race on, and due to the fact I'm up against like hungry animals behind me, I really don't mind it. But due to the fact what I learned today, I'll take it to consideration. I'll probably do the same thing with the 25 did. Just run your race, make your lines proven, and just keep on rolling. And hopefully don't get busted for speeding or get problems in the pits. But I'm down. I'm ready on for Saturday for the Texas Grand Prix.
It's going to be a lot of fun. 16 laps here. Walla Cup Series has definitely been interesting so far, and you're definitely going to want to tune in for that one. Well, hey, Michael Lewis is going to be tuning in because he's going to be running once again. He was the runner-up in the Daytona 500, by the way. He was running with those guys at the end of that one, so he's got talent. His first career win here today gets the job done in the Texas Grand Prix at COTA. Sign-ups for South Boston coming up probably right now. They're probably up right now for you guys, so go ahead, check that out, and have an opportunity at running next week at South Boston. The standalone race for those guys. And of course, Saturday we got the Terry Black's Texas Grand Prix and the Wall Wall Cup Series. It's going to be a lot of fun there for the 7th race of the season, the first road course of the Wall Wall Cup Series as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Huge thanks to Philip Torres for joining me. You'll hear him a couple more times throughout the year here in the Sprint Series. And hey, hope you guys enjoyed it. A big congratulations to Michael Lewis on his race victory. Here are the point standings for the Sprint Series after 8 races. I'll see you guys next week from South Boston for Sprint Series Night in America. I will see you guys later.